Well, hello everybody. How are you doing today? This is Joan Graham and I'm coming to you today and I'm answering the question why. So today I'm going to ask the question why salt? Do we need salt in our lives? Do we have too much salt? Do we not have enough? And to answer that question for me, I have Mr. Ross Harty, who is a clinical nutritionist who has over 30 years experience in his field, and he's going to answer that question for me. So hello, Ross.
Hello, Joan. Thanks for inviting me, and hello, viewers. I just wanted to really give you a bit of an idea on how important salt is for the body. So without salt, we simply cannot survive. It is that important, that critical. So just like water, we must have water, but we must have salt. So sodium chloride typically, sodium is positively charged ion and chloride is a negative charged ion. We need that in every cell in our body. And there are a lot of myths out there where salt is bad for us. In fact, we need salt. The Romans were paid in salt and they ate reportedly 2.5 times more than what we do today. So salt is not dangerous.
Okay. Apart from all the reports that we hear.
Yeah, Dr. James Deany Collin, he is an amazing doctor, medical doctor. He's done well over 10 years research, cardiovascular wise. And his book is just an amazing book to read with all the figures, with all the facts and figures. The Salt Fix is the book's name. And it's just, it gives you so many truths and not hearsay, but truths. And I've put some of these to practice over 20, 30 years. And the more salt that you give people to a certain extent, the better their symptoms will become.
So are there different types of salt? Some we should avoid, some we should use?
Sure. Yeah, look, so I agree with the medical doctors. Table salt is bad for us. Sodium chloride is really bad for us. It does harden the arteries. It does give us high blood pressure. It does destroy the outer edge of every cell in the body. And I agree with them. But when we go to hospital and they give us a drip, that's 9% sodium chloride, the bad salt. Instead of, I would prefer the Himalayan salt. It has 84 minerals in it. And it's been hand cut out of underground in the cave. So it hasn't been bleached. It hasn't been heated. It's in its natural state.
Okay.
So that is super important. I prove every time doctors will call me and say, why did you put Mr. Smith on salt when he's got high blood pressure? And I'll say, okay, doctor, 10 o'clock every day for 5 days, we'll take his blood pressure. And after the 3rd or 4th day, that blood pressure will start to decrease already, simply by having salt into the diet.
Okay. Okay. So how does it actually help?
So typically the salt goes into the cell and then it will be attracted by water and drag water into the cell, and that will be used as energy as well. We see this with athletes, modern day athletes in particular. You see the trainers run out with water bottles. That just doesn't have water in it. They typically have salt in those. We see it with marathon runners, the motor car drivers. That's just not water in there. That's salt for hydration. It keeps the heart and brain at the right temperature.
Okay. So are there certain health conditions that would benefit from more salt? Like if you're saying have the Himalayan salt, are there specific health conditions that may be helped by having the Himalayan salt?
Sure. That's a great question. The Himalayan salt will improve people that are asthmatics. For example, there's salt inhalers that has a little bit of Himalayan salt down the bottom of them, and you suck on these pipes, and that helps people tremendously with asthma. It's a well-known fact, but it's not advertised, that hyponatremia or low salt intake is far more dangerous than high salt intake.
Okay.
So it is more prone, you are more prone to have a stroke or a heart attack with low sodium than you are with high sodium.
Okay.
That is a fact. We see with autistic children that they have better learning capabilities when we can, if we can, add salt into their diet, the good salt.
Okay.
So
That's really interesting.
It's great for diabetes. It helps with insulin production. So by adding salt to the diet, you don't crave the sugar cravings.
Okay.
We typically talk about the white powder that's bad for us, and we just say, well, that's salt. No, the white powder that's bad for us is actually sugar. And this, you can try this yourself. If you have a salty meal, you'll tend that you will want to drink more water and not fill yourself up with sweets.
Okay, that's interesting. That's so very interesting.
There is many conditions. So we're talking cardiovascular disease, we're talking diabetes, two of the major health concerns of today that we can just help or reverse by adding salt to our diet. Most people would say, how much salt?
Yeah.
Okay.
My next question. Yeah.
Yep. So now that depends on where you live, whether it's hot or dry, or it's humid, how much work you do, whether you go to the gym, whether you're a farmer and you're a hard worker.
Okay.
Or you're a sports person of any description. So we really do need like a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of pink Himalayan salt is my suggestion. Definitely not
table salt.
Table salt, sodium chloride. I agree with the doctors. Yep, it is bad for us. The difference between Himalayan salt and sea salt is it's normally 84 minerals in the Himalayan salt and around the 60 odd with sea salt, which still has been processed and heated and cleaned. And that's why we lose some nutrients. So I'd rather the full 84 than the 2 or the 60 odd.
So that would even include people like tradesmen or anybody that's working in hot conditions. They would need that extra salt per day as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So the more water and salt that we can add into the body, it will lessen chronic fatigue and lactic acid buildup. It will flush that away.
Oh, yeah, that's important. Yeah.
It's very important. And you don't have to be an elite sports person. You can be a weekend warrior. You can be just a tradesperson, as you said, or a busy mum.
Yeah.
Picking kids up from school and making lunches and doing the daily chores. That's busy. You need, if you're rushing around, you need to add a little bit of salt. Just a small little pinch in most of your glasses of water will help hydrate you, and your memory will improve. Your hormones will improve.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones is the thyroid, and salt, iodide and iodine. We need in our diets. So it helps with sleep patterns, hormones. It's essential for our body. So please don't overlook having an extra pinch of salt on the food or in your water. And in fact, if we all went out to the bush, a lot of the farmers out there, they'll say, would you like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea? Yes, thanks. So they put a pinch of salt in your cup of tea, even without asking. They just do it automatically because they sweat so much. They're losing their salts, their minerals, and this simply just replaces them.
That's an amazing way of looking at it. That's very interesting. I like that.
So going back to the asthmatics, there's a simple Himalayan inhaling pipe that costs about $20, and you just keep putting Himalayan salt in there, cheap as chips. And particularly the children, they don't have asthma attacks. They're not taking the steroid Ventolin pumps all the time. So all the sprays, they don't need them anymore, just by salt.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So, Ross, it's been very interesting, and I have to admit I've thoroughly enjoyed the information that you've shared today. So what I can do is I can put your number, and you are available for Zoom consults. And I love your background, and I know that it's real because I've heard the chickens clucking in the background. So I'll put your phone number down in the box from here. And I have to admit, I've really enjoyed this subject today and enjoyed talking to you. And I look forward to many more discussions with you on how we can improve our health, even just a little bit. And they say that if you change your direction by 2% or 2 degrees, you'll end up in a different place. So I like that. So thank you very much for your time today. And we will catch up again soon. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.